Hello, friends, and welcome to the Optimized Advisor Podcast, where we focus on optimizing the well-being and best practices of insurance and financial professionals today. On this show, our objective is to help you optimize your life, optimize your profession, and learn from other optimized advisors. I'm your host, Scott Heinela. We hope you enjoy the show. So the now Annie Dietrich.
Yeah.
This is a big thing. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Newlyweds.
Newlyweds.
Since when?
End of December.
What a journey.
Big journey, but fun.
So AC Social Designs. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
So I am Annie. I'm the founder and CEO of AC Social Designs. We are a full-service social media marketing agency is kind of our niche. We definitely do a ton of social media management and starting to kind of dabble in the education of learning a little bit more about how to motivate people to use social in the right way. It's confusing, right? So that's what we do. We work with a lot of really small businesses, which is kind of cool. A majority of our businesses are in the beauty and aesthetics industry that we started working with, but we've evolved just by referral and have grown into other different establishments, such as working with custom home builders to showcase their projects, podcasts like yourself.
Plastic surgeons,
wellness. We've also done quite a bit of dabbling with like a smart home innovation company. So for the most part, just pushing them through the social marketing world that is quite the experience these days.
So today we're going to talk about politics and gun control.
Perfect. Just up my alley.
I'm just kidding. We're just kidding.
It's all over social,
we're going to talk about
too.
social media today.
Yeah.
It is all over social media today, not the topic of today's conversation. Today, we're going to do two things. One, what are three, maybe not of the most important, but of very important requirements or things to be involved with and aware of as it relates to being optimized with social media?
Especially when you're starting.
Things that everybody should know,
right,
but many maybe think they know or just don't know.
Right.
Okay, and then we're also going to talk about three new trends. A lot going on in the world of social media.
We call it adaptation. Like when I wake up in the morning, I never know what it's going to throw at me. Like this morning, kind of a funny short story, I got on right away, and a lot of stuff, we push content out a lot at 7 a.m. And when I do that, immediately I noticed that everybody's reels went to 0. It's like, glitch. What's going to happen today? And then they fix it.
So zero
views.
Yeah. 0 would mean something's wrong.
Yeah, every single one of them.
Oh, wow.
So you go back and look at, my reel that had 40,000 views, 0. Will they even get it back to the right number?
Oh, wow.
Lots of glitches, which usually means we're going to have an update. There's going to be something that's going to be coming. They're just fixing the back end. So,
does it feel a lot like catching water?
Yeah. And a lot of times we learn something new that's coming up, and and when I say we, I say the network of social media influencers out there. We really pride ourselves on figuring out exactly how to train the algorithm, and I'll get into that a little bit. But it is so interesting. You learn one trick and it completely can go away or be redone. So the adapting is huge, and it definitely is something that's evolved in the last year, big time with social media, especially when they announced that Instagram itself, the CEO of Instagram, Adam, announced that this is no longer a photo sharing platform. This is a video marketing platform. And
wow,
it took a huge turn.
So in practice and in reality, so those that are just loading pictures and loading photos, what happens to them on the platform? They're there. But what happens to what they're trying to accomplish or the effectiveness of what I'm trying to do?
So typically the people who are just sharing things are like if you and I go to dinner and we take a picture and you want to share it and our friends and family see that.
oh man, this food looks killer. I got to share this with everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like for me, I would take that picture of you and I would post it as a hard post. And then I would story us boomeranging our cheers of our really fun cocktails. And then I'd probably take a video of the view. And then from there, I would share that through my stories and be like, great night. I loved going out with Scott, enjoyed my time. But the hard post sits just you and I. So you're sharing your experience through the stories. People who are growing on the platform, those that want to be seen and reaching to the top through the algorithm, you have to be creative. You have to get people to keep coming back and watching what you're putting out there. And if you don't do that, if you're just posting the same thing over and over and over again, a picture at dinner, a picture with friends, a picture here, that's more for your personal. That's not a business of marketing.
Interesting. That's you just trying to showcase you doing fun things.
And you
in the
can
world.
do that from a personal aspect. So a lot of us have personal accounts. Like you have Scott and I have My Love Styled, and those are our personal accounts. And mine's private because I have a lot of my kids' stuff on there. And I went through divorce, so I'm like, I don't want to be out there in the public. Right. So I keep that for like my friends and my family. But my business, that is not private. In fact, I'm a creator account, and we'll talk about that. And I push through marketing with all of my stuff on my platform, but I also still post my personal in there because your community of followers need to be able to know who you are and trust you in order to either engage in your services, understand what you're educating them in, or even be confident that you're giving them the correct information.
Yeah, and I would say for us, I mean, not that only advisors and wealth managers, insurance professionals are listening to our show, but that is our target audience.
Right.
So I think it's important to look at it from a lens of, as an insurance professional or as an advisor, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish? What are the messages that I'm trying to portray? How am I trying to brand and represent myself? And I think there's things that advisors can do to be very focused and target on who they're trying to connect with as their ideal client profile. So maybe we can, not now, but we could dive into that as we go through some of that, because some of these most important items we're going to identify, I think, help shape that as well.
And that's going to be their niche. So we will talk about that. That's huge in social. You'll hear it everywhere from every influencer that's a social media influencer, meaning we consider ourselves like the pros of knowing what's going on in social media. You hear them use the word niche. So if you talk about certain things, you really want to hone in on your niche. And like you said, your target audience, that person that's going to be your customer, then you would want to talk about the things that would relate to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, number one on this list. Let's get to it. It's bio.
Yeah, your bio on social media. So that's actually the information that sits next to your bubble. So when you go in and you create your account.
Wait, what's the bubble?
It's the bubble. It's a circle that has either your logo or a picture of you or a picture, depending upon. That needs to be set up correctly also, but that's the start of it, right?
Okay, so how do you set that up correctly?
Update profile. So you go in and there's a big, huge button right there that says update profile. And you as the interface user have access to that. And on there, you can change your picture and it's in a circular format. In fact, a lot of apps have the cut and size for that. So if you take a picture so your face isn't cut off and that type of thing.
Right.
But specifically when it comes to being a financial advisor, I would suggest that you put a professional picture of yourself there.
Yeah. Not the casual selfie while you're sitting at the desk.
No.
We could do better than that.
Or even your family, because you can incorporate your family in your social, but not as your primary button. This is how people see you. The first thing that comes up, this is your highlight button, or story button, which shows you put something out there for everyone to see. And if
what's
you
mine? Should I be nervous?
Yours is a professional photo. Are you kidding me? I manage your social.
Okay,
of course it is. It's definitely up there. But for Optimize Advisor, we have our logo.
Correct.
So, and oftentimes we'll change that out a little bit just to give it a little bit more creativity and so it doesn't get old and stale. There is a lot of studies that people say it doesn't matter what you put out there as long as it's your face of who you are, because then you feel like you're giving a personable appearance there, or it's your logo so people can see your brand.
Got it.
Changing it, there people will say, oh, change it every month, change it with what you're talking about. There's no real rhyme or reason behind it other than, the marketing aspect of it. So the next part of on your bio on your social is your handle. So that's your @ sign. So ours is at Optimize Advisor Podcast or at
My Love Style.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, or at AC Social Designs. And that is your actual business name. It cannot be like something funky and different. And you want people that when you're in talking with them, oh yeah, check us out. We're Optimize Advisor. So the minute that they go to search it, which you don't have to search by hashtag anymore, you can search directly by an account, even without using the @ sign. And that's how people are going to pull you up right away.
So let's use an example just to give some perspective of the Smitten in the South one and how it created it. You created another one, or you didn't. You changed the name.
I changed below it.
Okay. But that's the @
Yeah, at Smitten in the South. So Smitten in the South is Scott's, their custom build design profile. Sorry.
Right.
And we characterized it to eventually be more than just the custom home, right? It would be a way for Melissa to educate people in building a home from scratch, interior design, and kind of an influencer world. And so we created it that way instead of her name. Her name now sits on the second line, which is searchable.
Got it. Okay.
So same thing, Optimize Advisor, but right below it, it talks about what kind of a podcast it is. It doesn't say Optimize Advisor podcast again.
Right.
So people make that huge mistake because that initial line, not your handle, but that first line in your bio is SEO.
Got it.
In social.
Got it. Okay. All
So
right. Well, that's very important to know.
Super important. So it is a personal brand or your name.
Got it.
And it's your profile picture, again, relates to that. So they see you, they recognize you, they know you. The space where your name should be, that's where you need to let people know what your business is. So in other words, we are a financial advisor podcast.
Right.
And for me, it says a social media design and management company or agency.
Right. So like an advisor would write, going beyond wealth.
Sure.
Or optimizing true wealth, like
a good tagline that has to do with finance, wealth, management, or whatever their offering is. They also get the opportunity to focus on those next two lines. And it's kind of funky the way that if you directly do it in Instagram, it doesn't make it look clean and nice. So people always ask me, how do you make it look clean and nice and not like run-on sentences?
Right.
I use an app. It's called Instagram Spaces. And I use that app for all of my content writing because it spaces everything perfectly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're a partner with Instagram, so it definitely does line up correctly. And you can go in and edit and all that kind of stuff.
Now, what about if my primary profile lives or was created on Facebook and then I transfer, or the profile setup is completely different?
It's separate.
It is. Okay.
Facebook isn't as lengthy. Facebook's search engine is a little bit different than Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram search engine was all hashtag driven. That's why hashtag was such a thing that you had to have these hashtags so people could find you. Not anymore. The search engine about less than a year ago became completely searchable. So you don't have to hashtag
the
podcast.
Yeah, got it.
You can actually type in Scott space Heinola and we'll be able to find you.
Right.
Before it was not set up that way.
Okay.
Facebook always has been. Facebook is Instagram's purely an app. Like the platform through Instagram on a PC is not easy to use at all.
Correct.
It is definitely an app.
Right.
Facebook can definitely be used a lot more on a PC, like a management system.
Right. Okay.
So it's definitely very app driven. So where your focus on those 2 lines of your bio, you want to make them count. So you want like your personality to shine through that. So you want to talk about what you do. Like what makes you different than every other financial advisor? So maybe it's a tagline or a slogan, or maybe you've been featured in something that kind of is catchy. And you really want to connect with your audience in those 2 lines. So for instance, for me, I put what I do and I create content based on educating, inspiring, promoting, collabing. Okay, well, people want to do that when they learn that.
Right.
So cool, she knows all that. I'm going to follow her. And same thing like Instagram for Optimized Advisor, we have our tagline, people, performance, passion. So those are the things that people are like looking at that and they're going, oh, that's cool, you know? And then that connects you with them. And then one of the most important things that's interchangeable on your profile is this link. You get a link option here, because if you know Instagram at all, in any caption or post in Instagram, you cannot do any type of hyperlink in the body of in a caption of Instagram. On Facebook, yes, but you have to do what we call a call to action, and we'll dive into that, but to a link. So you see a lot of people saying link in bio. Follow along to listen, link in bio.
Right.
Do not put something that's going to lead them to kittens playing in space. Like, you need your website if that's where you want people to go. You need the latest episode of the podcast if that's what you're talking about. You need, if there's a certain treatment you're offering or a service or an event, you put that link there. And you can change it however many times you want, but you only get 1 link active. So this is super important for people to know where to go when you're guiding them.
Interesting. Yeah. So if I'm an advisor, I'm advertising for an event that I'm going to be hosting.
And you want them to sign
I'd
up.
do a video commercial promotion of the event with an excerpt or a caption below, link in bio, and I update the link in my bio to go to the registration page, let's just say.
Absolutely. And it keeps them going. It keeps them on, right? So it keeps them staying within Optimized Advisor, right? So then they're subscribing to your channel, then they're learning a little more about you. Now they're stuck on the website, and before you know it, maybe they purchased a hat, you know? So that's why it's important. And a lot of times you'll see what we call a link tree, because people have multiple ways to go places. They have influencers do, or micro influencers, or, you know, and no matter what you use up there, just make sure it's not a broken link. Make sure it has a place for them to go and they don't get lost, because they will back out.
Interesting.
And so that's really, really important. So that's your bio. So that is searchable. It gives you your personality. It tells you what exactly you do. And lately, I would say within the last year, Instagram really talks a lot about, what are you serving? What do you serve people? That's what you're on here to do. Like, offer an education, offer some type of product or a service. So if you're on there serving that, how are you going to get people to engage and like you? So that's that's your catch line.
And these rules would be applicable to Facebook, any social media platform. I understand the layout, the allowances of fonts and all of that are going to be somewhat different, varied. However, the framework of what we're saying in terms of what's the most important, it translates to all mediums. So LinkedIn, Facebook, all of them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
Now, LinkedIn is the one that probably has the most leniency or capacity in terms of your bio, or Facebook too?
Facebook too.
Okay.
And I would say that LinkedIn and Facebook definitely act the same as far as the bio goes. You know, it's easier to, like you said, translate, add more information. I believe on LinkedIn you can do multiple links.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But absolutely, you want to be able to follow those guidelines.
Okay. Number 2.
Consistency.
This is a big one for advisors, where I think in many of them, it's important to really understand that, and we talked a little bit about this before, that being on social media isn't just being on social media. You need to perceive it as a segment or even an individual business unto its own. So having an online business, an online presence.
Right.
When I open any business, I don't open the business and then never come back to the business I just opened.
Right.
So I think if you put that mindset in place and represent that or understand that if I'm going to be on social media, it means I need to be fully invested in it and regularly contributing to that platform.
And it's not exhausting, so to speak. It's just learning how to do it the right way and to plan it to be able to actively be on social media. There's so many methods out there, and I've tried them and I've heard them all, that you have to post at this time on this day on, when the moon's full. It's crazy. And honestly, some of them work.
Finding the sweet spot. There really isn't one.
We do. That's exactly the term we use. We use the sweet spot. And the sweet spot is consistency. It's not 7 a.m. It's not 9 p.m. It's not. There is certain times, there are ways for you to know when more people are on social media, on different platforms.
But for sure, it'd be initially forget about.
Right.
Don't exhaust stress
No.
on when is the right time. The first main commitment and hurdle you have to overcome is posting on a regular and consistent basis. Now, I would challenge a little bit in the sense of what you said is that these platforms are moving away from images and just fixed content
Right.
to video.
Right.
That's what's really going to move the needle.
Totally.
Okay.
So being consistent in posting is 3 to 5 times a week.
Okay.
And a week is 7 days. When we create content, we create Sunday to Sunday.
Okay.
And there are traditionally good days to post certain things. They're kind of like a guideline, right? Like Mondays are more of a motivational day. Tuesdays are more of a testimonial day or a client review. Wednesdays tend to be more of an educational day or a behind the scenes type of trend. Thursdays are usually promoting your product or collaborating with somebody. And then Fridays are kind of a feel-good type of day to put things out there.
Okay.
And honestly, I think Saturday and Sundays are totally a waste of time to post.
So can an advisor or insurance professional create, because those are categories that you've identified. Maybe they'll use some of them. They can create their own category, but I think the highest level kind of thought process here as you build this out is create categories that you want,
Right.
and commit to those categories.
Buckets. We call them buckets.
Okay,
Yeah.
those buckets. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are there tools that can help someone automate this and create more efficiencies that I'm not every time having to manually go on?
There are. There's quite a few competitive calendar content planners that you can plan to be automated. The problem with that is that Instagram rewards you for being on their app. Facebook rewards you for being on their app specifically.
Oh,
so
wow,
if
they
you
figured that out.
use a third party and you're not actually just taking that information and cutting and pasting it and going into the app and doing it yourself,
Wow.
you are definitely hindering yourself.
That's pretty new, right?
Yeah. Well, and I've learned it because a lesson learned in growing my business is that now I'm managing content for 14 people, let's say, okay? And I've got different times that we post things and different things that we post. And so I use a content calendar system that you and I actually both looked in together. I use what's called Loomly. And now I use it more of just an organizational tool. When I went, and I'm part of a network, and so when I attended one of those content creation classes and seminars online, the Instagram people, so to speak, were like, nope.
You're getting penalized for that, basically. We're demoting you.
Exactly. And Facebook has in Meta, it's now called the Meta Business Manager.
We'll get into that.
Yeah. It has a place where you can plan all your content, but it doesn't go to Instagram. So it's always like this extra work.
So just do it on your own. Well, hence the value you provide, but we'll get to that last.
But using some type of a content calendar to keep you organized is important.
Is a good tool.
Because you can manage your content on there. You can manage hashtags. You can
And
manage,
you can author the content.
Totally.
You just need to take the content, copy it,
and
cut
put
and
it out
paste
there yourself.
directly in the app or in the site.
Yes, the
Yeah,
platform.
okay. Got it.
And
Platform. Thank you.
And as far as Instagram goes, because the biggest feature right now, Reels, is you have to make it in the app. You can't make it in a third party and push it to the platform. So it's not automated.
Got it.
And then you're stuck. Oh, that doesn't work. You know what I mean? So the best way to plan it is to use that type of tool or use your own calendar system. A lot of people use shared notes. I know a lot of managers have explained that using that's the best way to do it. And they plan out their 3 to 5 posts for the week. And they pick their bucket, so their topic they're going to talk about, and what is it going to be? And then what is the media or the image that they need behind that?
Okay, this is a great question. So many of our vendors, partner carriers, they've done a really good job of building out a portfolio of social media content.
Right.
Thumbnails, articles, a lot of stuff. Many of them have technologies within their websites that I can directly load a post to the site. Are we saying it's okay to use that, or are we saying no, you're probably better off taking that, downloading that in some way, and then you directly going into the app and doing a hard post?
I am saying that, yes.
Okay. All right. That's
and
good
I
to
think
know.
using other people's content, other words, like from marketing, there are corporations, like for instance, you think of the MLM, Arbonne, Madeira, like those people that are putting content out there, they have social media templates that they're given. And so they'll use those throughout their stories or their posts, but you need to sprinkle in your own creative content too.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good, so I would say like in my format, let's say if I was doing it 3 to 5 days, right? One of the buckets would be, a carrier partner, like very industry related, topic focused. I would be borrowing essentially one of my carrier partner companies' social media content, and I would be loading that 1 day a week or something. And then the other days of the week, I'm doing the other things within the categories, maybe some that you suggested.
Yeah, I definitely think that the biggest ones that we see out there, that when you're creating your content buckets for your captions or for what you're discussing on your posts, is you're educating people, you're promoting what you do, your service and who you are inspiring them. So that's like a success story or something that you got involved in or a networking event. And
Education's a big one.
Education is huge. And then you collaborate, like you just said. And actually, Instagram is rewarding so much collaboration right now. It's insane. So, for instance, we did a reel yesterday of behind the scenes doing Optimized Advisor recording in the studio since you're here. And I posted it through Optimized Advisor, but I collabed with AC Social. So now what's happening is that your viewers and your Pixel platform, which we'll talk about that in the algorithm, are now seeing it, but also my followers and my Pixel platform are seeing the same reel, and all of our comments and the caption are going to the same place.
Interesting.
And that's pretty new. That's within the last 2 months. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how, so an advisor would do that. Let's say they partner with a CPA firm, or they partner with
you.
Us or an insurance company or something like that. We can collaborate in certain efforts. So I wonder what a process to create awareness of that and connect those pieces.
Direct message through your Instagram.
Got it.
So the algorithm rewards you for staying on the app as many times as you can use the app, and they're very big on the DM.
Wow.
So DMs are a great way to not text message somebody outside of Instagram. Now you're inside.
You're inside. They want to keep you inside the sandbox.
As long as you can.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, LinkedIn does play by some different rules.
Totally.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Very much more network-based.
Right. B2B.
Yes. And a lot of for there, it would be definitely more of like your success stories and sharing information and
educating.
Yeah. But you're not going to get a lot of your customers from there. Correct. You'll definitely be able to network and build your business network and extend those extensions of it. But as far as like new business or just overall promoting yourself from a marketing avenue, it's a little bit different.
Right.
However, I would cross your content over into LinkedIn and Facebook.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, that's part of his indirect marketing. It's brand building.
Can never have too much content.
Right. Okay. Third item, engagement. You mentioned a little bit about it. Critical.
Huge.
Posting. Don't just read your comments.
No, don't post and ghost.
Right. Okay. Post and ghost. That's a thing. Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
So no posting and ghosting. So when you post, you need to engage within your comments, but there's actually a pretty cool formula that a lot of the social media managers, and I have it, so I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to read it to you. So they call this the 10x2 strategy. 1, you define your niche. 2, you align your profile, which we talked about, that's your profile, to that niche. So talking about who you are, what you serve, what you offer. Then you make sure your last 12 posts fit that niche. So what are you serving? And then you find 10 accounts in that niche that are crushing it and follow them, even if they're your competitors. And that's called engaging on the other end. And then from there, you find 10 hashtags that are super relevant to your niche and you follow them. Okay, because then that comes up in your feed, right? And then you engage with those 20 accounts and those 10 hashtags by commenting, liking, DMing, and sharing those posts. So you can even share someone's post to your stories. Like great information, 100%. Because a lot of your competitors are going to have the same stuff that you're talking about. And then from there, you repeat step 6 daily, and that's your engagement, which is spending about 20 minutes a day engaging on other people's accounts that are within your niche, though. I'm not talking about your best friend and his trip to Texas or anything like that. I'm talking about with your competitors, with people who are in your same industry. It's kind of like the back end of your network. And this way, their followers are seeing your name pop up in their comments. Because the hope is that you build a conversation within someone else's post. And it happens a lot.
Right. Wow.
So you can't just focus on, I'm pushing all this social media, all on my social media or my business platform, I'm pushing out reels and videos and posts. But if you're not doing anything on the other end, no one's seeing it.
Right.
You've got to engage, right? It's like going to the party and being the person who just shows up in the best outfit and stands in the corner.
Right. And what happens if I get a bunch of comments and then I'm not going in and responding to comments? And then what about just hitting the little heart button or a thumbs up versus actually typing something?
So it's always good to respond, even if it's just with an emoji, like a thumbs up, prayer hands, a
short,
thanks,
sweet.
or
Thank you.
something. It is also good to respond if there is a conversation that's being created. If a question's asked or if somebody says something or, you want to get involved in that conversation. There is a lot of people who say that don't respond to all your comments for an hour or 2. There are people who say don't respond to your comments for 24 hours because it boosts your engagement. It's kind of a game. I say stay on top of it. I say if you have a conversation going on in your comment
all those
section.
Little details you got to think about.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And we do that. That's one of our things. So I spend a lot of time on Optimize Advisor on the back end, just connecting and networking and talking to other people that have podcasts so that other people can see our podcast.
Right.
I also do it just for I actually engage with a lot of our guests through Optimize Advisor.
Okay, there's a few that remind me before we leave, I need to mention to you.
Okay.
Off air.
Ah.
Okay. Moving. So those are the big 3. Bio.
So those are big things. Yep.
Build a proper bio. Number 2, consistency, posting 3 to 5 times a week. And number 3, engagement in all aspects.
Yep.
Okay. Engagement is a pretty elaborate one.
It is, because it's not just your engagement on your end is posting. So that's number 2. That's your consistency, right? And then your interaction on your posts. But on the back end of it, it is engaging with other people.
Right.
And that's what LinkedIn
those
is.
Those are the tentacles that if you don't know, you don't know.
And honestly, there's a lot of mentors that I look up to that are really good at this. And it's kind of crazy, but that it is true that 10 by 2 is definitely in 20 minutes a day. And a lot of people, if it's your account and you can take 20 minutes and do it, you'll see effectively within a couple weeks how much it does different for you.
Okay. All right. Very good. Those are the most important 3 that we've identified today.
Yeah.
Moving on. New trends, hot features that are changing. This is the catching of the water, if you will.
Yeah.
Right? So what do we got here?
We got Reels.
Okay, 1, Reels.
So for those of you that don't know what Reels is actually a video, and it's mimicked what TikTok put out there several years ago. Instagram missed that beat and was like, we got to be better than our competitor.
Mm-hmm.
And so they, a little over a year ago, they introduced Reels, and a lot of people didn't quite know what exactly it was or a video and how it was going to work. And it was only 30 seconds, and there was this cool like transition feature. And so a lot of people kind of played around with it. And then it started getting bigger than that. And so now it's a 1-minute reel, and it has all these crazy features like different transitions. You have to use audio. It is.
You can overlay text.
It's
right.
It's massive. Yeah. Overlay text. You can add links. You can.
Wow.
And
LinkedIn now has a version of a reel. Something they have a video.
Similar. Yeah, it's a video.
Not the same.
Yeah.
But they've created a version of
a video, like a highlights or a stories.
Okay.
So highlights and stories are what sit above your feed, and those are kind of snaps of like, technically it's supposed to be what's going on in your day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what that was. It's not post-worthy. It's kind of like we talked about. We took the picture at dinner, but then we would story us cheersing our cocktails, and then we would probably story the view, and then we would story the end of the night laughing and whatever.
Right.
So those aren't post-worthy, but those are story-worthy.
Okay, so let's apply this to, let's say, an advisor hosting an event, an appreciation event. What I would do is, what's the hard post? What's the reel? What's the story?
So a reel can actually be considered a hard post. Stories cannot.
Okay.
So reels are, and I have like my big notes on this because this is a big one. So they are shown to more people on the platform.
Okay.
And the reason why is they have the longest TOP, which we call time on the platform. So your post that you post, you and I at dinner that I posted, that lasts about 24 hours.
Wow.
And then it just kind of.
And this is on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Reels is now on Facebook.
Got it. Okay.
So as of like last week.
They are synonymous of each other.
Yeah. You used to be able to post a reel, and then you used to be able to post the link to your reel on Facebook. And so then it would take you back to Instagram. But now they have Reels on Facebook. It's a little bit different. Like if you were to make a reel on Facebook, it's not very different, but a little bit different than making one on Instagram.
So if I'm making reels, it's better to create it on Instagram
Absolutely.
and add the button, slide the toggle over to have it
to
also
go over
added
to
Facebook.
Facebook.
Got it. Okay.
Reels have to be related to your niche. So if
I'm an insurance professional.
Right.
So I sell life insurance.
So it would be related to life insurance.
Got it.
And maybe today you're talking about your 5 benefits of having life insurance.
Got it. Okay.
And you don't have to be the silly dancing person that dances on a reel, but you have to be creative because you want people to watch it.
Right.
So
that's going to capture the eyes.
Exactly. So that's why transitions are important, because people like to see what's going to happen next and what kind of creativity they use. There's a lot of hand pointing.
So take a video, a sound bite with, like, let's say, the 3 biggest reasons to have your life insurance reviewed.
Yep.
I would play the song. I would point. I'd do the thing. You got to learn how to create that.
Yep.
Okay. Not easy.
No. And really it needs to be who and what you're providing. So not, something that's not relatable is unlikely for people to continue to follow you, because you kind of seem all over the place, right?
Interesting.
So I follow you because you give me life insurance information, and now you're like my guru. So I love seeing when Scott pops up because you're being consistent.
Yeah, interesting.
So you always want to share to your feed your reels and to your stories, to go to both places, because you get views for both.
okay, let's talk about this. Let's say I create a video, a reel on my business, my business profile.
Yeah.
And then I get add this to your story and your personal.
Yeah.
Would you do that or no? Or when would you say yes? When would you say no? It needs to stay and live on my business profile.
I would say I wouldn't do it all the time on your personal, but if it's something that you think that you could get your followers, your community from your personal to go and check it out, it's worthy.
So the goal would be I'm simply sharing this reel because my hope is that individuals that are personally tied to me, followers in my personal life or my personal profile, will then cross over and follow and or like my business page.
Yeah, if it's
Got
relatable. Yeah,
Okay.
that's like a marketing niche.
Right, okay.
For you, it would be benefit for Optimize Advisor for us to always collaborate with our guest that we're featuring for that episode that week.
Got it.
And then they have to know how to put it on their platform.
Correct. So we're teaching them how to do that.
Exactly. And it's easy once you've learned. There's a 3-step process, and we
Okay.
just educate them along the way.
Okay. Reels.
So tips, you need 2 to 4 pieces of text in your reel. So how we talked about the 3 benefits for life insurance. So whether you're pointing or it's going on the actual reel, and then you need it to be like in your educational space. So something that somebody's learning from or you're giving advice. And then you need to follow it up with a trending audio.
Okay.
And trending audios before was so hard to find because you literally would just have to look at reels and save the audio and then go back and make it. But now they've made it so much easier that when you pull up a trending audio, you can search trending audio through audio and it tells you how many videos have been made.
And that was something that was borrowed or stolen from TikTok.
Totally. Yeah. And they kind of cross over, and we'll see trends happen on TikTok, then they'll slowly hit reels. And then vice versa, reels, and then they slowly hit TikTok.
Fascinating.
What you can't do is you cannot put your TikTok on. You can, but you actually, I take that back. You can put your TikTok video on Instagram Reels, but it's going to have their logo on it, the TikTok logo on the trademark
on the reel.
Yeah, and so
You don't want that.
no, Instagram pushes it down. It won't let it be seen.
Of course, they don't want that.
No.
Okay.
So there are apps
No
that
free
you can
marketing
remove
for
that.
TikTok.
Yeah, you can remove the logo. There's
Okay.
apps out there that
Interesting.
so you don't have to keep making all this content.
Okay.
So 2 to 4 pieces of text, sounds with audio with over 100 to 1,000 other videos already made is considered a trending audio.
Okay.
So if you go on and you talk through it, you probably aren't going to get very many views. We've tested that with Optimize Advisor. We create these cool videos whenever we launch the episode, and then we put it on, and we've put it to Reels. Well, what I do now is I put the trending audio on, and I do your voiceover, and I mix them. So the trending audio is in the background, but you're talking over it.
Got it.
And so it doesn't catch that you're not a trending audio.
Got it. Okay.
And then always like a here's how to or a way to introduce something through your reels gets people to stay for that whole minute, right? Or even learn more.
Right.
You keep watching until the end or something like that. Like give them that kind of text. You want to use, this is a huge one. Okay. You want to use the second to the last font in your font options on Reels, and you want to bold it. And here's why. It is the easiest font to read on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
And you want to put it kind of to the right or right in the middle because like a newspaper, people read that way. And so their eye gravitates and it's easier for them. We're talking about the laziest things.
Yeah.
But,
Wow.
But incredible. You have to keep somebody on for more than 3 seconds to get a view.
Got it. Okay.
So,
Okay.
and then you want them to watch it to the end. So that's why a here's how to or watch till the end or wait for it. You've seen those, like wait for it. And you're like, okay, what am I waiting for?
I gotta wait. And then a lot of times you're like, wait, what was I waiting for?
Yeah. Oh, that was it?
That was it? Jeez.
But you watched it and they got the view.
They did.
And then you definitely want a call to action. So that is like...
Would that be in the reel or that could be in the caption? No, there's no caption.
There is a caption.
There is a caption. So it could be in the caption.
In the reel, you need to have something like, for instance, caption below.
Got it. Okay.
More info below.
Right. Okay.
Which is your caption.
Okay.
Or see link in bio for more.
Okay.
Learn more.
Mm-hmm.
And that is telling them what to do. And you do want them to go read the caption because you want them to either follow you or go get your product or your service or learn more.
Mm-hmm.
So a call to action, it really is. The sweet spot for Reels is to post one every day.
Oh, wow.
And there's challenges out there, right? Like there's a lot of social media managers that really believe that if you post a reel today, you could grow, 100,000 followers in X amount of time. And it's a commitment.
Yeah, that's a commitment.
Making a reel is really, really a commitment.
Yeah, there's where we'll get into this.
Yeah.
But there's where it's like, if you're serious about this, you either A, have a lot of free time on your hand, or B, you need to hire somebody that can help do a lot of this legwork. And you're a creator of the content.
Right.
But having somebody invest the time to do the implementation, some of the follow-ups, helping lay out the blueprint and the posting flow and all of that is important.
I've learned to be able to make a reel in like no time than before. I used to sit there and finick over it. But now that I know that this is what we need and what the media looks like, I love making reels.
Yeah. Okay. Highly efficient now.
But somebody who does it, it can take you a very, very long time. And you'll become frustrated.
It would take me no, I'd say I'm.
And this is not my job.
Right.
This isn't what I'm here to do. Right.
I want to work with clients.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, links.
Links. So before on Instagram in your stories, you had to have over 5,000 followers to offer a link for people to link in bio, link in bio or link to purchase or link for this. They went away with that. So in your stories, if you do not have a call to action or a link for each of your stories to direct your customers to subscribe, listen, like, follow, and drive them to your website or to where to download the episode or where to get the service or where to buy the product.
Okay, this could be a link to my company website. This could be a link to register for said event. This could be a link to download a guide or a booklet or something like that. Okay.
And it's in your highlights and stories, so both on Facebook and Instagram. And it is a sticker. So you find it where you find your gifts. And the sticker actually says link. You have to put the link in there correctly, make sure it's a working link, and then you put it on your story.
Wow. Okay. All right. And then number 3,
Algorithm change.
This is the biggest one. I think it's probably like catching water, because is there any things that, as an expert and as an insider, do you get inside knowledge that an algorithm is changing, or is it no within my community and what we're seeing it just changes and now we react?
I don't think we get any like fair warning.
Really?
I wish. We stay, like, for me, I stay very close to they're called creators, the creators at Instagram, and they're the people who will push out like the new features we know that are coming. Usually we can tell by glitches or updates that they've announced.
Okay, so they'll create an announcement basically that this is what's happening to the algorithm or what have you.
Yeah. So
and then you have to quickly learn
how to do it. And they usually are good at that. Like the CEO, Adam, he jumps on usually Monday or Tuesday and tells you a new feature or new update that's rolling out or if it already rolled out.
Wow.
And he's pretty cool about it. And he usually does like a whole tutorial in a 1-minute reel.
How do you just follow him on Instagram?
Yeah.
And through Instagram, he'll post a video of what's up, what's happening.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's definitely, and then they also have a podcast and they have, links that you can follow. And then there's like a network of social media managers. But Instagram itself, is adapting and changing with the times, and especially from a marketing aspect, right? So we talked about how it used to be a photo sharing app when it first started. And now there's all these crazy features and fun things that keep people on. You can go down what we call the hole and be on social media all day long, just watching videos and learning this. And all of a sudden you're 8 ways away from where you started.
Right.
And so the algorithm itself, we call training it. That's what we do as social media managers. And the biggest way to train that is the things that we talked about already, so to speak, and that is consistency. It's posting reels because those are what's the longest time on the platform.
Staying in your niche, staying in your lane.
Staying in your niche, in your lane. And then also collaborations. So we're seeing that whenever you collaborate with somebody else, we're seeing that boost. And here's why, kind of like what I explained to you, it gets put in front of both those people, right? So it gets put in front of your community of followers and it gets put in front of my community of followers. And so my followers may not know anything about Optimize Advisor. So now they're going to jump over to your platform and see what you have to offer. And then they'll probably follow them. And if they comment or they talk or they discuss or they even share our content, then it goes to their followers. And so if they start with your profile, the longer you stay on there, you get rewarded for it.
Did you know all this?
She knows everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. She's a
She
millennial.
knows.
All millennials know all this stuff.
Do you use Instagram a lot, Danielle?
Personally, I go on it, but don't really post for my business.
Do you ever buy products or services or look for things based on it?
On Instagram itself? No. If, say, there's a company I find on Instagram, I'll go to their website and buy. I've never bought anything through Instagram itself.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sheesh,
That part
even I
seems
have.
a little, I don't know. I don't like that part of it.
Really?
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because you're
Because a lot of the
concerned
ads
about
are
legitimacy?
like, misleading. Unless it's like a
Fair
well-known
enough.
brand, I guess, maybe. But I get notifications like from Sephora, like, oh, buy this, but I just ignore them.
Yeah. I would, but when
Interesting.
someone
Okay.
says, like, if Scott came to you on the street and he was like, I have a podcast called Optimize Advisor, would you tend to look it up on Instagram first, or would you?
Yeah, I'd look it up on
Yeah.
Instagram first.
That's
You
like
would.
that's the biggest thing. I even tell, like, I have a client.
That's interesting. I found one. I wish I had my phone because I found I was introduced to a podcast from someone I met at home. Had no idea he's doing a podcast, and I naturally went to, my music or my podcast listening platform,
Right.
to search him as opposed to going to a social media platform. Just interesting observation.
Yeah, well, I guess a podcast, I would maybe look up them on like
A
the Apple-
podcast.
Apple Podcast or something like that.
I would
But-
too.
I'm
Then
curious
kind
to
of
see if they
like
would
the
have a.
legitimacy of it. You'd go on Instagram
Yeah.
and see how active they are. Because you can't really tell some of these metrics if you just look up the podcast itself on a podcast platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's anything else with the algorithm changes.
I have a couple clients that that come to me and they could care less about the followers and the engagement. They just want to push their stuff out there as a gallery or a lookbook because the first place people look for them is on Instagram. And I call it like the show off. Like they just want to show off what they've done. And that is because in their industry, that's what people look for. So a lot of that would be like an interior designer, custom home builder, a smart home innovator that's done these projects that you see like the before and after.
And then you're also now, which we will not get into, but you're now opening the can of worms of Pinterest
Oh,
and
yeah.
the likes of this,
Yeah. But
which would be a great, to me, conduit for the professions that you just described.
yeah. And Pinterest is awesome for that.
But we won't unpack that today. We're almost out of time.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Now, one more thing. What is Meta? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a big one. So it's always been Facebook, and Facebook acquired Instagram, and they also are WhatsApp, right? WhatsApp is a text message featuring it's
And
linked.
phone calling.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
internet in-app phone calling, right? Okay.
Yeah, and video messaging and things like that.
Okay,
And
so Meta now is the
parent company. So Meta is Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. And it is the future of social media. And the metaverse is what they're hoping to create. And we could go down like a whole rabbit hole on that. But eventually you and I could sit in a room and have a virtual meeting or a virtual podcast and invite friends to come virtually.
That's a whole different world.
It is.
We'll save that for another
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else to add?
No, we definitely can always come back and see if other people want to talk about other topics or what have you. But the biggest thing I think that I took away actually this week, I got to listen to one of my mentors speak, and he posted this: creating content is the best form of marketing right now. So if you aren't doing it, he's like, why? It doesn't cost any money. You don't need fancy equipment to do it. You can do it from anywhere, right? You have a phone, you just do it from wherever you are. And all you have to do is just start creating it.
That's great insight. And I think from our perspective, when I say our, advisor, insurance professional, we're not talking about overnight success.
Right.
But to that point, you are talking about sharing your messaging, connecting with other individuals, connecting with your existing customers, connecting with individuals who can be linked to you. So it's a long runway. It's a way to invest in your future, creating a brand. Again, it's not something that you're going to do today that's going to get the phone to ring tomorrow.
Right.
Those would be false expectations.
Totally. It's your presence. So people can find you. They know where you are. It is the future of, it is now of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that as a financial advisor, if you can be on social media, people can find you, and your purpose would be, like we talked about, educating, inspiring. There's a couple really good financial advisors out there that do a really good job at that. And if anything, they are just an inspiration to either a potential client, a new follower, somebody they can network with.
Other advisors.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how do they connect? How do we find you?
At AC Social Designs. And also I have a website as well, www.acsocialdesigns.com. And just shoot me a DM.
And your desire in working with other insurance professionals, financial advisors, would be to
help them manage their content, like get it pushed out, create what they want, work with them on advising what works for them. Some people can really manage their own social and it works for them, but they need to be taught how to do it.
So you create a full a la carte.
Yep.
How adequate or inadequate? What is your time allowance and tolerance for this? And let's custom tailor a plan that fits for what it is you're trying to accomplish within your goals.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
A lot to learn.
Always.
Till next time.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Please subscribe, like, share, leave a comment or review. Be sure to check us out on social media at Optimized Advisor Podcast. Till next time.